Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about my thoughts about the gameplay after the patch came out. I think I'm a little bit more calm in regards to explain these things now because I haven't really been playing the game a whole lot before the patch, and I came back for the 3 patches. Couple problems and couple things I'd like to say, and I'm probably going to be saying this for a while because I feel like, no offense to the guys at EA, but I just don't think they know how to make a balanced game. I'll explain why, right? I know that some people will look at this video and they'll see it in the point of view of just being negative, but it's not about being negative. It's just about the gameplay dudes that work on this game. It's at this point, it's incompetence at the highest order, okay? Because here, let me just explain the situation. When I made the videos before of the gameplay patch notes, when I tweeted about the game, I always told people, right, that they had to make their finishing literally overpowered in good positions, from good angles, alone, from good angles to shoot across goal, whatever, right? They needed to make them overpowered. Because the situation that you find yourself the most in when you're inside the box in FIFA to open up space for yourself is never you being able to take that extra touch on them in the middle and then doing the driven finesse, because obviously that's an effective way to score. But a person's defensive AI is most likely going to be there most of the times, right? The game right now is park the bus versus park the bus. And as you guys know, watching my content, right, that's what I warned people about, right? I'm like, listen, and you guys can see from the tweets and everything, if they remove time finesse shots and they remove goalkeepers, which they didn't, they just changed it, right? If you remove time finesse shots, you need to have a consistent way to score 1v1s. There needs to be different ways of scoring 1v1s. And the reason being is because with the goalies in this game, right? Or not the goalies, with the defenders in the game, with defensive AI in this game, it's so effective that people aren't even defending. They can drop their controller and the game will defend for them. That's how effective the defensive AI is. Is it possible to pass it? Of course, right? But the shooting is so inconsistent that it makes no sense, again, to have manual goalkeeping in the game. Because even if you want to do a driven shot, or a regular shot to the left side or the right side, your players can still scuff the shots if they want to. It's completely RNG still. So even if you want to shoot across goal from a good angle, you still might not score, even if you predict the guy to go near post instead of far post. Like, people can still move their goalies, but the accuracy of your shots from 1v1s is inaccurate. That doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't take... I know that they watch the videos, and I'm pretty sure some of the devs will watch these videos. Guys, it doesn't take someone like myself or someone else in the community that understands how gameplay should work for people to understand what makes a balanced game. Because you guys work at this company. You've been here for years, okay? There's things that make sense, and there's things that don't make sense. Having defensive AI be effective, your 1v1 shots to be inaccurate, and your goalies to still have manual goalkeeping makes absolutely zero sense. Because the 3 games that I played, the one thing that I realized is that the game really wants you to cross the ball. It really wants you to cross the ball, because building up the play, I was trying out different formations. I was trying out to progressively build in the middle until the wides got open. I tried to, because I was always switching it in the game to try it out, right? And I was trying out different things, and like, it just didn't feel like it mattered. Like, the game was really telling me, like, you have to cross the ball. That's what it felt like. And I think that really sucks, because I got into a lot of good 1v1 situations and the player's shooting is still awful. I could be using Karim Benzema, I could be using Ronaldo, and it'll still be inconsistent. The only one that's consistent is the driven finesse shot, but you have to find yourself in a position to do it, because, again, with your inconsistent gameplay, right? Because the 3 games that I played were all slow. None of them were even like normal pace or fast pace. When your gameplay is slow, right, and you're building up the play, when your player does one touch, right, the emphasis that your player puts on that touch already wastes too much time, because defensive AI is so effective that they go towards these players very quickly, right? And a lot of the things that I found when I was playing is that I felt like when I was actually defending myself, which I have to, I'm never going to change that, because then it doesn't even feel like I'm playing the game anymore. I felt like when I dropped my controller to test to see if a guy can pass my defense, I felt like they defended better than I could. And I just don't really understand that point, right? When there's 1v1 defending and someone is committing to you, space opens up in different areas, and that's the areas that you're allowed to exploit. But it just doesn't feel like that's the thing, right? And I was trying out narrow formations, wide formations, so on and so forth, and it still felt RNG to me. I had two different driven shot opportunities where I shot them, and they weren't good driven shots. They were shot near post, or it was shot at the goalkeeper, and I got lucky and it hit his arm and it went in. If your defensive AI is effective, your 1v1s need to be, it's not even have to be effective. They need to be overpowered. Like, if I'm using Quaresma on the side and I'm in that like goalkeeper area of those lines, right? And I take the extra touch downwards and I want to do just a regular driven shot to the bottom left, the way that your game is set up right now, you need to allow me to score that even with Ricardo Quaresma. I would say 9 times out of 10. Because I was taking shots with Aguero, with Gabriel Jesus, with different players and trying out the finishing. And even with the players with high finishing, it just felt completely random unless I did the driven finesse shot. It seems like every time I'm playing, I'm always trying to find that middle angle to be able to do that skill move or to be able to open up that space to do that driven finesse shot. But most, like I said, most opportunities you find yourself in is to do driven shots across goal. And I warned people about a patch like this where if EA were to release a patch to nerf finesse shots, they have to make 1v1s effective because defensive AI is still very good, right? And that's what I noticed with the games that I played. So I was playing head-to-head, and head-to-head is still broken. EA's matchmaking is broken. I literally matched up with a guy in Africa, and then a guy in the UK. I matched up with a guy from Russia, because I have the Net Duma router, the R1, and it shows me the areas that I'm matching up with, like 150 ping, 170 ping, but you can still feel what the game feels like in terms of breaking down the space, right? The way that people were defending, I think it's brain dead now. Honestly, I'll still create content for this game, because what's been happening with the YouTube channel has been fantastic. Like, the amount of subscribers, the amount of new people we're getting the channel is amazing, and I really do appreciate you guys stopping by. But for people who don't expect negative stuff, man, I have to say the truth when I experience certain things. And it's hard to say whether or not I like the game more now because finesse shots are not a thing. But then at the same time, it feels very RNG now. Like, if I take a shot, I don't know that I'm going to score it. But if I do, it's like I have to thank the game for letting me score instead of me actually scoring it. And then you still have manual goalkeeping. It just doesn't make sense, right? If the driven finesse shot was effective per se, like doing a driven shot in terms of accuracy and power, I would be okay with it. I'd be like, whatever, defensive AI is overpowered, I'll deal with it, right? But the fact that your finishing is still very inaccurate, even with really good players, like, I don't even like thinking about the shots that I scuffed, because they were good angles. And then the guy scored a cross, a deflection that lands to him. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, as a video game, listen, the way that the game is right now, right? And because I don't even know if EA is going to add another patch. I have no idea, right? The way that the game is right now, and you guys can let me know if you agree with this or not, okay? So you no longer have long range shots to be effective. Thank God, because long range shots are, in my opinion, super annoying. There's no skill. If there was skill involved in it, then they would be cool, but there really wasn't before. But long range efforts were needed before, and even now, because you didn't change the things that needed to be changed in the other areas, right? But anyways, I digress. When someone's super defensive, the best solution is to make it manual defending. It has to be. Because if someone is parking the bus, which I don't blame them for at all, I have to do the same thing. I always tell my players to drop back, tell them all to come back, because that's the meta now, right? And it sucks. But I don't blame someone for doing it, but coming up against that and seeing someone's analog not be anywhere near you. I understand if they see a run opening up and then they go and switch to that player to block that run. But we're talking about them literally just standing in one spot and just holding the second man press. Right? There's no skill to defending anymore. My greatest pride back in the day when I used to play FIFA, and my friend even used to tell me, even nowadays, is that my biggest attribute was my defending. Because my attack was okay. But my attack, anybody that's watched my content for a long time knows that that's not what won me my games. What won me my games is my ability to predict people's attacks, right? I can't out predict everybody because there's still going to be people that beat me and destroy me, right? But for the most part, I'm very good at knowing what someone wants to do on the attack. And I feel like that concept in FIFA is kind of gone now, right? Where it's like, instead of you being a good defender like you could have been years ago, right? It's more about your defensive AI is just doing it for you now. And I feel like that's very underwhelming because I think defense should be a good trait because, again, my attack wasn't that good. If I never scored my attacks, you know, the guy only has to score 1 or 2 opportunities and then he just defends against my poor attack or whatever, right? And I feel like that concept is kind of, or poor attack. My attack's like not bad nowadays, but I'm like, before I wasn't that great at it, right? I don't know. It's hard to explain. The game's RNG now, man. Like, for me personally, I don't really care who still performs consistently well, who still gets all the results, because as a regular consumer of the game, I've been telling this to people all the time, I don't feel like there is a skill gap anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel it anymore. Goals don't have value anymore. I literally tweeted out the other day, and this is crazy because a lot of people respond to this with the exact same comments, right? You can lose to someone nowadays 5-0 and you could still be a better player than them. And I know that some people are going to be like, what? That's not even... It is a thing. Because I have so many of my viewers and so many of you guys that just tell me how much... Because I've experienced before, right? Lose to a guy like 3-1, 4-2, whatever, 4-0, and then the next game beat them like 5-0, 6-0, right? The game's value towards goals nowadays is... It's diminished. It's diminished because there's so much RNG now because of defensive AI being effective and your finishing not being consistent that it's just random now. It really is just random. And I feel like when people are playing this game right now, and from noticing it in head-to-head, I don't even know what it's going to be like on Ultimate Team. I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to be like there. I mean, we're definitely going to try it out, but it just feels like people aren't playing football anymore. You know, everybody and anybody is just trying to find the game mechanics to abuse the most, right? There was things in previous years that were effective, but even in FIFA 18, right? FIFA 18's game, the only things you can really say, and this is terrible to say because I hated that game too, right? Is that goalie leg saves happen too often, as much as people don't want to admit it, but from good angles, you should be scoring them, right? People were parking the bus because defensive AI was also effective, but there just wasn't that thing where people were really abusing the game mechanics. Driven shots, yeah, but people do driven shots in real life. That's how you score. If you get into an angle, you shoot it across goal. That's what you do all the time, right? There are certain angles that were stupid that they went in, but they were random, right? That was RNG. But nowadays, in this FIFA in particular, like, this FIFA is dead, man. Like, in terms of a video game aspect, it's not because it's FIFA, it's a football game, so in that regard, it won't be dead. But as a video game, it's just stupid. Like, when you're playing it, you realize how dumb it actually is. Because, especially with inconsistent gameplay, when your players feel slow and sluggish, you take one touch and your players push the ball. They push the ball. They can't sharply touch a ball when the gameplay feels like crap. They can't sharply touch a ball and just go on with their life. They have to put emphasis on every single touch for some godforsaken reason. Like, you, as you're playing, you can feel the sliding. When you're dribbling, even if you're not holding a trigger, you're just using the left stick. Even when you're not using the left stick and you just want them to touch the ball, they slide. And it's like, why? You're a professional footballer, man. Like, I was watching like a lot of games today. I was watching Manchester United play. I was watching Man City's game because Liverpool might win the league. I totally jinxed them by doing that. And I was just watching these games and, like, yeah, Burnley was playing super defensive and whatever and realistic, this and that. But when you think about it for a video game perspective, right, you have to separate the real life and the video game a lot, right? Because in the game Manchester United versus Burnley, right, it was like a game of FIFA, right? The first goal that Burnley scored was a top shelf. I think his name was Tarkovsky. Top shelf, David De Gea predicts to the right, blah, blah. He scores a 1v1. Okay, right? His second goal was a cross, right? There's no build-up from Burnley. Burnley is all about the set pieces and the fair play to the 1v1, but it was because Andreas Pereira screwed up so badly. And the second goal was a good cross, to be fair, a good header. And that, in real life, In real life, when you score a header, it is lucky, but there is more skill involved because the person doing it needs to generate the power and the accuracy and needs to see the ball coming at them at the perfect time to hit. It's different than a video game, right? You have to have a certain way where you can balance and predicting someone's header in a video game than you can in real life. The finishing, Lingard went down the box from the defender holding his shoulder, right? And then the second goal, someone crossed the ball in the play. Alexis Sanchez with the header, Tom Heaton with a good save. Lindelof gets the deflection, shoots it at the goalie, goes in, right? It goes into the right side of the net, and then the game's 2-2. That in itself is like a FIFA game. It is, and no one's saying that it isn't, right? You know, I watch a lot of games in football where I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much a game of FIFA, but I feel like for a video game concept, that line, right, that you pass in terms of it being a video game and a football simulator is just way overboard now with FIFA. It's way overboard because, to be fair, most of the small, or not smaller teams, but most of the mid-table smaller teams in leagues, a lot of them will be playing Park the Bus, right? A lot of them will. They're playing anti-football to get their results, right? Like a point against Man United is a good point for Burnley. Should they have gotten 3? Absolutely, but a point is a point for them, right? And I feel like in FIFA, that shouldn't be the case. It should really be about open play at all times. Even if you are being Park the Bus or ultra defensive, that's fine. But that's only fine if it's manual defending. Not defensive AI, drop your controller, they do it for you. Right? Not you get... Don't get me wrong, in real life, when you hit a 1v1, even sometimes professional players, they try to hit it to the bottom left, and sometimes they screw up. Most of the times they don't, if they're 1v1s. Not 1v1s, but in the certain angles to hit it across the goal. But you have to have a balance between both of wanting realism and wanting a good video game, because right now this isn't a good video game. The balance is not there, right? There is a way to balance FIFA. There is a way to make it a good game. First of all, you have to fix your inconsistent gameplay. That is single-handedly the most important thing. But second of all, if you make gameplay patch notes, even if you just ask me, right? Because I'm very unbiased when it comes to certain things, okay? So not certain things, especially with FIFA. Just ask. Like, okay, Inception, if we're going to take out manual goalkeeping and finesse shots, what do we have to do? And I ask them, okay, you want to keep your defensive AI as it is? If they're really firm and they say yes, I'm like, okay, your finishing needs to be overpowered. It needs to be overpowered. If I get into a position, at this point, this angle shouldn't even be a thing anymore. This, you should be able to score at this point. Because that's the meta in this game now. You should be able to score this angle nowadays because of the way the game is set up more than even this. Not more, but I'm saying like this more than this, but this should be still possible to score. Not this. This is just fucking stupid. But this, right? You should be able to score now. And that by itself, even with defensive AI being really effective, a person just needs to find one angle to shoot from. You do a fake shot or something, you do that a little bit of acceleration, you find that angle, you shoot across goal, you score. Because right now, it's random. It's so random. It makes no sense, right? It's good that you guys nerf finesse shots, but you guys didn't listen. If you nerf that, the rest of your game is going to be random. People are going to be going for crosses now. People are going to be going for just the most random shit. They're going to do a long shot, and you as a person you're not even going to know. I wonder if that's going to go in or not, because there's no skill in it. They just shoot, and it's like, well, hopefully he doesn't hit it in the middle. Hopefully he doesn't hit it at the side. There's no skill in it, right? I'm telling you guys, I don't think EA knows how to balance a football game at this point. Like, it's like these guys don't play the game themselves. I'm not trying to be negative, and I know that a lot of people in my comment section and my community in general will look at this in a negative sense, but guys, I only look at it from an unbiased point of view, okay? If I see someone that's heavily congesting the defense and midfield, that reminds me of real life soccer when teams do that. When like even like a team like Burnley that does that for like almost the entirety of a match, that's not even fun to see, let alone actually play. Because if someone is parking the bus in real life, each person is individually controlling themselves. In this game, have the controller in your hand, park the bus, just drop it. The players will do it for you, man. There's so many of my friends, man, that they said, dude, literally I play with my girlfriend just for fun, just to see if I can score against her, and I only beat her 2-0, and she's never played FIFA in her life. A person who's never, because the way that some people will play it when they're new to video games is that they'll be using a striker and they won't even know how to switch, right? So they'll just be running around like a headless chicken, and he's like, dude, 2-0. Been playing FIFA for 4 years and I only beat her 2-0. Only managed 2 goals because the AI still makes those slide tackle blocks. They still block the ball for you in general. Listen, man, I'm all for defenders making blocks for you when your cursor is on them. But when your cursor is not on them and they're making slide tackle blocks and they're at the bottom and they do a slide tackle block, it just doesn't make sense. I'm going to stream the game now because for me, even though the game is more RNG, I just like the finesse shots are gone. I think it was the stupidest thing ever. Are people going to park the bus more often now? Yes, but we just got to wait and see, man. I don't think that this is a balanced FIFA, though. I really don't. I think the skill gap has never gotten smaller, and I think that at this rate, we have to wait for FIFA 20. I feel like the guys at EA need to understand what makes their game balanced or what doesn't make it balanced. Like if you have manual defending and your finishing is inconsistent, at least it's manual defending. So there's gonna be more than one way, or more than 3 or 4 times I'm gonna pass a defense if I pass an attack well. Is my shots random? Sure, but I'm still gonna make a lot of opportunities to score more consistent goals. And especially since if defending was more manual, especially that driven finesse shot, if I get that inside angle and I score it most of the times, I'll be fine. Whatever, you know. But that's just not the case. Like the huge misbalance with this patch right now is defensive AI is really effective. So pretty much everyone you face against is gonna play park the bus, right? Defensive AI still makes those crazy blocks for you. 1v1 finishing is not consistent or always effective unless you do the driven finesse shot. But driven shots are not effective, but you still have manual goalkeeping. Why do you have manual goalkeeping if your shots are random? It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to hear this thing because I saw some interview where they're like, oh, but we can't remove the manual goalkeeping. You did it like 2 years ago where it was in the game and you removed it in like the first week. But this year you can't remove it. Manual goalkeeping should not be a thing, EA. Goalies move a certain way in real life, and that's what your goalies had before. But your 1v1s, when defensive AI is effective, sure, you want to do that for your noobs, do that for your noobs. When I'm 1v1, even from at this point, this angle, don't give a fuck about more this whole thing now is what you need to score now, because that's how crazy your game is. It's so random. I scored 2 goals against this guy now, and I could have lost that game 1-0 if the game decided I was going to miss those opportunities. You can't do that. A person needs to know they're going to score most of opportunities because they know that is a consistent thing. It is a video game, EA. It is a video game. You can't add RNG to a video game and then create an esports for it. That's pretty much it, guys. I think I did pretty well to not go overboard in regards to my thoughts towards this whole thing, but I just think that I don't want to be negative, man, but at this point, your gameplay team is just incompetent now. It's just incompetent because the game should never have been like this when it came out. Okay? This time finishing bullshit nonsense should never have been a thing. Okay? It's so goddamn stupid. And the fact that you guys say that it's native is even on top of that is even bullshit. Okay? Right? And you just created such an unbalanced game. It's just random now. Like, hey, if you're a football fan, you want to play an unbalanced game where, you know, a good person will still win most of their games. You'll still be in Division 2. You'll still be in Division 1. But the general experience, even when you're in Division 1, it's going to be more random now, man. There's going to be games you lose 3-0 that you should have won 2-0. His 3-0 came off of 2 random crosses. Again, crosses don't have skills, so it came off of 2 random crosses and a deflection. But you had two opportunities where even if you're like this against the goalkeeper and you did a driven shot across goal, you don't score it. It's too RNG, man. I'm not giving an excuse for my viewers. I'm not giving an excuse for myself. I'm a Division 1 player. But you guys know, 5 installments, man, I've been complaining because they don't know how to balance it, man. They don't get it, chat. They don't get it. I'm trying to be calm, but like they really don't get it. You know, it's so infuriating. Like, I'm thankful that you remove the time finesse shots, right? but it should never have been a thing anyways. You guys have had shit FIFAs for so many years. You guys don't get it yet? What makes a game balanced, what doesn't make a game balanced? You should literally hit a certain part of your FIFA franchise where the gameplay should always be the same, where you find that balance, you understand what makes sense, and that's it. You make your game a subscription-based service now, man. I don't want to play FIFA 20 and you guys are making a brand new game again and it's broken again. No one wants that. Just make a good game, give a subscription service, right? Oh, here's an update to the new year of FIFA. No one wants to do this shit anymore, EA. Okay? No one wants to play a brand new game that's never completed. No one wants that. Okay? That's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully I see you guys for the stream tomorrow. I'm gonna be trying it out in Ultimate Team. I didn't stream today because I got really annoyed that my matchmaking was getting matched up to people in Africa when I'm from Canada. People get offended by this. I don't know why, right? If you get offended when a Canadian or an American person is saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm matching up with these Mexicans," no one is saying that in a racist remark. It's just like, I got matched up with a guy in Africa, and the guy, I actually get a comment of a guy telling me the African servers are fine. What are you talking about? I'm from North America. I'm from Canada. I have no business matching up with an African server. Of course that's the reason. Some things that I shouldn't even have to explain, guys. Something like that, I didn't even respond because I was so dumbfounded that I even got that tweet. I was like, guys, come on. Come on, man. That's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace out, my dudes. Love you guys.